Senator Roberts.
Thank you. I thank Senator Pocock for his matter of urgency and for validating the concept net immigration that we've been pushing for quite some time. Mortgages are skyrocketing. Rents keep increasing. Two-thirds of young Australians believe they will never own a home, and it's easy to understand why. The housing unaffordability crisis is one of the greatest issues facing Australia. In Brisbane, the median house price is 10 times the median income. Experts consider a 3% rental vacancy rate to be tight. Rents are rising on the back of a record low national rate of 1%. 1%. As in all real markets, there are two things, and two things only, that affect house prices: supply and demand. Successive governments have destroyed both sides of the equation. This is how one nation would deliver cheaper houses and cheaper rent. In the short term, stop pouring fuel on the fire. Excluding tourists and short-stay visitors, there are 2.3 million visa holders in the country likely to need housing. In addition, there are roughly 400,000 tourists and other visa holders in the country. In the middle of our rental shortage, this high demand is motivating owners to convert housing to full-time Airbnbs. 2.7 million visa holders, more than 10% of Australia's population, are in the country right now fighting Australians for a roof over their head. The country cannot sustain this level of overseas arrivals. It must be cut to help housing availability and affordability. The biggest winners from high house prices are the banks. As the Reserve Bank raises interest rates, the big banks pass that on at up to 7%. Yet the banks borrowed long-term funds from the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, at just 0.1%. They're pocketing the huge differences, leading to record-breaking profits. One nation would never repeat the mistakes of the COVID period, where the Reserve Bank was allowed to create $500 billion out of thin air. That led to the inflation that the Reserve Bank is now trying to fight. And the tool it uses is to send mortgage holders broke. Finally, on the demand side, we need to ban foreign ownership of Australian assets. A single real estate agent in Sydney sold $135 million in property to Chinese buyers in just 6 months. Australians can't own a house in China, so why should we let foreign citizens buy property here? And finally, on the supply side, the government needs to get out of the way with its restrictive building codes, so-called green land restrictions, and a spiderweb of employment law. A home is a castle. Decades of indifferent governments from both sides of politics have, for many Australians, ruined the Australian housing dream. Only one nation has the guts to make that dream a reality for all Australians. Affordable houses, affordable rents and a flourishing economy are all possible under one nation. We just need to start looking after Australians first.